Tim, how you feeling?
Feel good, ready to go.
Is this early on when you came back and had the spasms? It had to be a little bit frustrating. It must be good now that you're finally feeling.
Oh, no doubt, man. Just having to watch the team practice, at times, and you see the hard work they putting in, and even every now and then, we fell short or whatever in the game, and you feel like you could help. It's always tough to watch.
Jim mentioned earlier this week the energy you bring to the team. Is that a conscious effort on your part? You try to be like?
Nah, man, that's just who I am. Like I don't try to be a mascot or nothing like that. I'm a 3 technique dog. Like I ain't got to do all that. That's just who I am. I love football. I love the game. I've been through some things that I definitely I cherish every second that I can on the football field now. And not saying that I didn't, but I'm a lot more conscious about every time I get on the football field, I need to take advantage of it and be thankful.
Doug and Nick keep saying today that the motivation alone is just being at this stage of the playoffs. Is there anything though with the players you sense that there's motivation from what happened the last time you guys played them?
Oh man, it's tough, especially having to be there and watch it. You know what I'm saying, and just see everything that happened and see how it happened. That's a lot of stuff that rubbed me the wrong way. But out of love and respect for my coach, I ain't gonna dig into all that. So everybody here got it on their mind, though. Ain't no doubt about it.
Speaking of watching that Saints game, what stands out as an area where you feel like this team has a chance to correct stuff?
I can't really say in a sense because I wasn't on the field. It's hard to really say, if you're not on the field going through it with the guys.
So then where do you feel like this team has changed or developed?
I don't know what it is, but it's obvious to see, like, the team is just playing better in general on all 3 phases of the ball. Offense, defense, special teams. I think last time when we went into that situation, we just wasn't clicking, like that, But I think as a team, all together, I think we're playing a lot better football.
Now that you're back, what kind of impact are you looking to make on this matchup to make sure that it's not as lopsided as it was last time?
I'm just trying to be the best Timmy Jernigan I could be. I'm not trying to go out and be Superman or nothing like that, because when you do things like that, that's when bad stuff happens. I'm just, the plays that I'm in, the biggest things for me is just focusing on my technique and what I got to do within the play to make sure the defense is in a good position. That's what I'm going to do. But do I feel as if I give us, better chances, better hope on defense? Yes.
Hey, Tim, as a follow-up to that, they've really managed your snaps here during the past few weeks. Are you at the point yet where you can kind of get back to that workload you had last year? Or do you think this is the way it is going to be?
I mean, I was ready since, the first time I stepped back on the football field against the Giants, But at the end of the day, whatever my role is within the defense, I'm going to play it, to the best of my abilities. I can't control that, so.
It did seem, though, like last week they started to kind of take the ties off you a little more.
No doubt. No doubt. I do. I mean, when we looked at the play count, I played a little bit more, last week rather than previous weeks, So the plan is just to keep building on top of it. If my numbers called more this week, 93 will be out there,
From a run defense standpoint, how important is it having you in the middle of that defense when you have backs like Kamara and Ingram?
Right. I think it helps, man. I think they have a very talented backfield, but at the end of the day, I just don't want everyone to keep, kind of brushing over us and what we've been able to accomplish up front. I feel confident with where we at. And I think it's going to be a hell of a football game.
How do you think it also helps kind of the other D tackles? It seemed when you were out of the lineup, some guys like Nada were playing maybe more snaps than they were.
Right. I think it just helps everybody in general. I think Haloti looks a lot more fresher with the snaps that he's in. You kind of get to see that burst that he has. Cre'von is a talented player. I think everyone knows that about him now at this point. And, Fletcher's Fletcher. I just think I'm able to come in and just help guys out. I think it's a great rotation for everybody, and it just works for everybody. No one's really complaining about playing or anything like that. It works for all of us.
So guys talk a lot about how Doug lets everybody on this team be themselves.
Right.
Nobody. Did you feel that right away when you came here? And how big is that
no
for you?
doubt,
especially?
man. Like the day I got here, last year, when I first came in, I was kind of walking on eggshells. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of tight. I'm like, man, I just got traded. I didn't really know why I got traded, so it's like, I don't want to make any mistakes
It's
or
a whole new
anything.
place, yeah.
And Howie, he made it very clear to me. We brought you here to be yourself. Like, don't be nothing other than what you are. That's what we want here. We want dogs on the defense. We want you to be Tenny, and I've done that, and it's been working out for me very well.
Does that help you when you go out on the field that you can feel like you can just be yourself on and off the field, so that's one less thing to worry about?
Oh, no doubt. It's easy to work like that. It's easy to come to work. It's easy to do your job. You're not, this league can be stressful if you make it. And I think Howard and Coach Peterson just does a great job at making sure everybody's comfortable. It's a comfortable workplace for everyone.
How is this team different than back on November 18th when you first faced them in Week 11?
I think we're a completely different team. That was just a bad game overall. I don't think the team that was out there that day was really who we are as a football team. We have a lot of new guys that are playing at a much higher level now than we were back then. But we're excited about this opportunity. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. That was my first time going to New Orleans last time, and it was a really good atmosphere pregame. So I'm expecting the same thing today or on Sunday.
Probably even more.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun environment. We're looking forward to it. We're a completely different team than we were 7 weeks ago. I don't think that team that showed up on that Sunday is even remotely close to the team that we are right now.
How did it become a rallying point for you guys? Because you guys were 4-6. You could have gone one way or another. How did you end up here in the divisional round to get a rematch with them?
Yeah, I think that game, everything I think could have gone one of two ways after that. I think guys could have started pointing the finger, or guys could have, I think, really take a hard look in the mirror and see how we could first get better individually, and then secondly as a football team. And I think guys just reflected on how we could be better as a football team. And I think it was a rallying point for our season. Guys just got back to work. I think we got back to playing really Eagles football, disciplined football, playing with a lot of confidence and swagger each and every Sunday, because that team that day did not play with that confidence and swagger that I think we're known for.
How did you get it back?
We got back to the details. I think we got back to competing each and every week in practice, even harder than we were previously, and just focused on the little things, focused on the details, focused on everything pre-snap execution-wise, and then, when you're able to take care of the small things, the big things kind of fall in place, and I think that's what we did as a football team, not only offensively but defensively and special teams as well. And this is also the healthiest we've been as a football team all year. Guys have been battling injury-wise for a long time, and I think everyone's kind of finally getting over the hump of that, and I think everyone's playing fast and healthier.
What has Doug done to keep the team together during that time?
Yeah, Doug's a phenomenal coach. I think he knows exactly all the right buttons to press when he needs to. Guys really love playing for him. But I think the leadership of the team also, I think, was able to stay strong during those times. No one was pointing the finger. Everyone was just saying, hey, how can we be better as a football team? How can the leaders of the football team be better as a group? And I think that's been reflected the past 7 weeks.
Zach, there's a little bit of mystery on the outside of what Mike Groh does as an offensive coordinator. What do you see from him on a day-to-day basis and a weekly basis as a teacher and the coordinator?
Yeah, he's so on Wednesdays and Thursdays after practice, he's the guy always breaking down the film as the leader of the offense when we're all in there together as a skill group. He's in the quarterback meeting each and every day. I can't say exactly how that role is in there because I'm not in there. But he is a phenomenal coach. I will say that. I know early in the year he was kind of getting a lot of flack. But at the beginning of the year, we weren't as players executing to the best of our abilities. It's not like we, as a whole, reinvented the wheel from last year to this year. We just weren't playing up to the standards as an offense that we should have been playing. He's an amazing teacher. He's really, really detail-oriented, which I think overall it resonates with a lot of players. And he's going to be a really good coach for a really long time.
Zach, most teams that aren't in this position, a lot of them are looking for franchise quarterbacks. You guys, it seems, have two.
Yeah.
Is it just that Carson and Nick are that good, or is there something about the makeup of the team that would allow, not just anybody, obviously, but a solid quarterback to really thrive here?
I think there's a multitude of factors in that. There's a lot of layers to that question. Some of them are definitely well over my head. But also, we got two really talented quarterbacks, and I think Sudfeld is going to be a really talented quarterback as well. I think the coaching does a phenomenal job getting those guys prepared each and every week. The offense has a lot of talent as well. The receivers, the tight ends, the offensive line, the running backs. I mean, you look all over our offense, there are guys that are established players in this league that have been doing it for a long time. But at the same time, the quarterback position is the most important position in probably all of team sports. And we are fortunate to have two guys that are playing at a really high level, and we know that they have a history of playing at a really high level. So I think we're lucky to have both of them. There's a multitude of factors that I think make a franchise quarterback and make a guy look good. And I think it goes both ways. I mean, those guys make our jobs very easy. And I feel like we have a lot of options on offense, so they don't have to focus on one guy. And if he's taken away, then the offense is not going to be very good. So I think it goes both ways.
Zach, the Saints have been a team that's kind of been talking a lot of trash all year, dating back to the preseason, kind of putting a target on your back. And you know, some guys say that you thought they ran up the score on you guys the first time. Is that extra motivation in this game, or do you as a player just have to block all that out?
I mean, I think I have a lot of motivation in this game. It's the NFC playoffs. It's the second round of the playoffs going down to New Orleans. It's not going to be an easy game. I got to be playing at a high level for us to be successful as a football team. A lot of people count on me to do that, and that's all the motivation I need to go out there and play to the best of my abilities. That's all the motivation I need to have a really good week of practice, have a really good week of preparation. I don't really focus on what the other team's doing, but at the same time, it's not lost on all of us exactly what happened in New Orleans 7 weeks ago.
Are you still angry about that game? Does that game still anger you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you lose 48-7, it's. I don't think you're ever going to get that taste out of your mouth. Horrible, horrible feeling, embarrassing, humbling. All the words that you could possibly think of kind of fell after that game were true, and that's something you don't forget for sure.
Zach, how do you feel about the offense now versus the way it played back then?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're playing at a very high level right now. We're a much different team as a whole from the team that I think was on the field that day. We're playing with a lot more confidence and swagger right now than we probably have all season. We're extremely confident in our abilities as a football team, and we're excited for this opportunity.
Zach, you told us after the game Sunday that you guys feel like you're playing with house money. Nobody expects you to be here.
Yep.
How much has that helped, and how different is it when you were the 1 seed last year?
Yeah, I mean, no one expected us to do anything last year. No one expected us to do anything this year. We probably shouldn't have gotten to the playoffs. Hindsight is always 20/20, but I'm sure the Bears wish they didn't let us into the playoffs. And we're excited for this opportunity. I mean, we have nothing to lose. I mean, we're 9-7, 6th seed in the NFC playoffs, and we got nothing to lose. Guys can go out there and play loose, have fun, and just focus on making plays.
When you talk about the improvement you've seen in the last 6-7 weeks, you guys are better than you were then. Is it too simplistic to say that you guys just got healthy in some spots, or you got experience in other spots where guys are still missing?
I think the health is a big thing. I mean, some of the guys that were starting that game never even really played an NFL football game on both sides of the ball. But at the same time, offensively, the guys that were playing that game had played a lot of football.
Yeah.
And so we expected a much better performance as an offense. And we're expecting a much better performance on offense this week. But at the same time, the team as a whole is much better now. Healthier, yeah.
How is Darren Sproles coming back? You know, he being one of those guys. How has he benefited the offense since his return?
He's huge. I can't say it enough. He is a phenomenal player. Teams have to account for him every time he's on the field. Most of the time, teams have one really good cover guy, and when he's not out there, most of the time I'm getting him. But when he's out there, we're able to play off each other extremely well. I think he has another 4 years in him, so make sure you guys let him know that he looks phenomenal. And I think he's still got a few more years.
Nick said that loss in New Orleans brought the team closer together.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think those big losses kind of go one of two ways. You're either going to start pointing fingers or you're going to reflect. And I think a lot of guys reflected on how they were playing as individuals, how we could get better as individuals. And when you're able to, I think, self-reflect like that, the offense and the team as a whole, I think, started playing better. I mean, everyone was focused on the details. Everyone was focused on, I think, just being a little better each and every week, each and every day. And I think that's culminated in our appearance in the postseason, winning 6 out of 7, and playing football at a really high level.
Are you really thankful to get this second shot at them? You know, because that was the worst loss of the season.
For sure, that was the worst loss of my career, more than just the season. Obviously, extremely thankful we're in this opportunity to be in the playoffs. Probably shouldn't be in the playoffs, but we have an opportunity to kind of right the ship again. I don't think there's many times in life you get a second chance, and so we're definitely looking forward to it.
Because you know the ball's going to come out quick, and you know he's going to get that. Is it going to be for you guys to kind of make sure you wrap up first chance?
Got to. You can't have no yards at the carry or no yards at the catch. So as soon as the guy throws it, you got to get him on the ground.
What's the biggest difference about this team since that first meeting in New Orleans?
To our team, we're talking about them.
The Eagles.
We're just a better team now. Usually you want to play your best ball at the end of the season, toward the end, going into the playoffs, and that's what I think we're doing right now.
Just how important is it that the cornerback position's been stabilized between you, Avante, and cre'von? You know, consistently lining up week in and week out.
Oh, it's good. I think the reps is helping us too as well for them. And the coach is doing a good job of taking the load off our bodies, making sure that we're good to go when it's game time.
What's the communication been like? And has that been the biggest thing? And just learning how to play together with new spots with all the starters missing.
Yeah, definitely communication. You got to understand different guys. Strap came from Detroit, and them. They did things a lot different. So we just got to talk him in on how we play. So now he knowing certain things he could do with Avante that he might not do with me, or some things that he could do with me that he might not do with Avante.
How much better are you right now than you were on November 18th as a cornerback?
November 18th? I don't even remember that. Oh, that's when we played? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Wait, a lot better. A lot better.
What have you improved on the most, do you think?
I think that was only my second game playing, maybe?
Yeah.
First game playing? Yeah. So, reps. I'll just say reps.
A lot more comfortable and confident.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
that fair to say?
Yeah. That comes with reps, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The longer you stay out there, the more you get better, the more confident you are in what you can do.
You've led this team in tackling 5 of the last 6 games.
That's probably my shoulders hurt. For real, man. My shoulders hurt.
I mean, where does that come from? I mean, are they targeting you, or are you pursuing to play better? I mean, you seldom as a cornerback.
Guys don't block the corners, though. So, I mean, they leave us to tackle. So, I just try to do a good job of getting the guy on the ground, whatever I got to do to get him on the ground.
Has there been any sort of special coaching, anything that you've
Nah.
asked to concentrate on in the last 6 weeks?
Nah.
You always had it.
Yeah.
The play you made in Dallas, where you came off the receiver for that interception there on that play, was that just you making a play? And was that a sign that confidence that you were talking about was starting to grow there?
Yeah. This is Dallas. I mean, I don't want to talk about Dallas, but
No, I'm
yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at Dak the whole time.
Yeah.
Seeing Coop coming across, and when they threw it, I just knew I could get it.
What I'm saying is, was that a point where you're saying, okay, that confidence that you were talking about is starting to
Yeah,
grow?
yeah.
As a young corner, what does it mean to have a playoff game against a future Hall of Famer like Drew Brees?
It's a playoff game. It don't really matter who we play against. It's going to be a playoff game.
You guys had a good plan in place for Tariq Cohen last week. Do you have to have a similar one here for Alvin Kamara for the things that he can do as a receiver as well as a rusher?
Yeah, you got to kind of treat them the same. Yeah, they get the ball at the backfield, make plays, and they can get the ball, catching the ball, make plays.
How was that first New Orleans game a turning point for you guys? Nick Foles said that you guys came together, you know, it really showcased the brotherhood.
Yeah. I think that kind of like bring us together like, yo, we're going to really need all sides of the football, defense, offense, and special teams to click if we want to be. Because at that time, well, still now, we're one of the best teams in the NFL, and they play 3 sides of the ball. So he's like, if we want to be the best that we think we are, we got to play 3 sides of the ball. So everybody just came together and said, look, we're going to do this. And we just all start clicking.
Did you, Avante, and cre'von ever have a discussion amongst yourselves, being in the young guys in that cornerback group at secondary, saying that it's on us to take that next step?
Definitely. definitely. Because, you know, it's like we playing with older guys who done got a lot of snaps. Jink played 1,000, you know what I mean? So they know what they doing, and they're all on a different level. We're young, so we haven't kind of seen as much as they seen. So we knew we had to just come together and, like, listen, we're not going to be the reason for this team not going as far as we can gotta go. So.
Do you guys do any extra film study, anything outside the typical meetings and things of that nature?
Yeah, always.
Is it anything like getting together at someone's place or outside the facility?
We just watch the team play and look at what we would have did if we were going against them. And we just make every call and just go through the list.
I'll say Timmy's a great player. I think for the organization to get a person like Timmy, not only the way that he plays, but how he brings the energy to the defensive line and energy to the defense. And I think getting Timmy back has been a pivotal thing to the change in the organization as far as defense in the last couple of weeks. And I think having him back is always good.
Do you have any examples of that energy Tim brings? That's kind of what Jim Schwartz said too.
I don't know any examples.
Okay. What do you mean by that energy?
Like he brings energy. Okay. You can't see energy, you could just feel it.
Michael, Nick Foles said that after that Saints game, that really kind of bottoming out, it kind of led to what you guys became and it brought you closer together. Do you agree with that? What did you see happen after that?
I'm never going to disagree with Nick Foles. The football gods will look down on me and shun me from success. So whatever Nick says is the truth, and I'm just going to live with that.
How did it bring you closer together? Was there accountability? What happened?
I think for us, it was one of those things where the media, everybody counted us out. Nobody believed. As many people would say right now that they believe that we'd be in the playoffs. They'd be lying, of course, because nobody said that we weren't good enough, we wouldn't be doing this, and we wouldn't be able to play with anybody else. And I think when you're at that type of level and all you guys, your teammates and the coaches in the organization, I think for us it came together as just people who want to do something great together, and we didn't really care about the outside, and I think that's how you got to keep it going.
After that game, Malcolm said that he was a little upset by the demeanor of his teammates, and do you think that came from more of just what he called his embarrassment in that game, or do you feel like he felt like maybe?
I don't know. You got to ask him. I don't want to speak for him. I think his perception is his perception, and I really don't want to get into.
Do you think anything changed because he spoke out?
I don't know. You have to ask him how he feels. I mean, that was his whole thing, and I'm not sure how he felt about anything like that. But I think overall, the positivity of just everybody coming together and banding together and just playing great football and trying to figure out, to have Nick in the game after Carson gets hurt. I think it's important that we have great players, and the great players have to play great.
Have you enjoyed seeing
going into a game though with like a little bit of a chip on your shoulder after what they did to you guys?
No, I think every game is a chip on your shoulder. I think the media wants to build up this fight, this heavyweight battle, and I think it's important for the fans to have that type of access to the teams and have something to believe in. But for us, I think just another game. You just go out there, you play hard as you can, and you just want to play, to the level that you're capable of playing. I think that's what we focus on. I think that's what we've been focused on every single week. Not really looking at the statistics, just looking at the numbers of who we got in our room and who could play every single day.
Have you enjoyed seeing cre'von get the credit for blocking and all the praise he's been getting?
Get the credit? He earned that credit. I don't think he got the credit. I think he earned the credit by being in the right position and putting his hand up when he was supposed to. I think field goal block is, special teams are the players who are always overlooked and they don't get any credit for the things that they do. I think whenever they make a great play, I think they deserve the credit because they earn it, and I think cre'von did a great job. And it's one of the hardest jobs to do, to keep running into somebody and know that the play doesn't really count sometimes, and to finding when it's your opportunity to make the play he did. So obviously he deserves the credit he got.
How different do you think this team is today than you were 8 weeks ago when you guys went?
I don't know. I have to leave that up to you.
Well, I'm asking you, what do you, like your opinion? How do you guys feel like this is a different team?
What do you think?
I think so.
Oh, then that's the answer.
How is getting Jernigan back help the defensive line rotation?
I think it's good. I think we did a great job getting Timmy back. A lot of guys are playing great. I think Halodi's looking as young as he could possibly look out there, even though he's like 40. Halodi's playing great football. Timmy's doing a great job. cre'von, Chris is feeling good. BG. So it's just good to get everybody out there and have that rotation. I think rotation is very important, especially when you're playing against a quarterback like Drew Brees.
If you can get him in the third and longs, how important is stopping the run then?
I think stopping the run is one of the most important things in football. I think it's one of the most overlooked things. I think a lot of teams focus on pass and how many sacks the people got, but the teams that can stop the run are usually the teams who win a lot of games. And we have to be able to stop the run. I think Kamara's a great back. Melvin Mark Ingram's a great running back, and I think we just got to be able to stop them whenever they get the ball.
Michael, what's key in making sure that it doesn't get out of control like it did last time?
What did got out of control?
The score.
How do you do that?
I'm asking you, like, what do you think the key is to make sure that it remains a competitive game?
Well, what do you think?
Stopping the run, getting off the field on third down.
Well, you should be the coach, man.
I'm asking you. I'm asking your opinion.
That's why I asked your opinion. I was asking you. You answered the question for me, so we're good.
It's been tough to sack Drew Brees, and when he gets that ball out quick, do you have to remain patient in getting after him and going after him?
You just got to keep rushing him. I think Drew is a hard quarterback to sack, but he's been sacked before, and I don't think he should make anything more special than that. I think every quarterback you can sack him. You just got to do it. I think we just got to get to him, and I think that's what it really boils down to, how hungry we're going to be on Sunday.
The guys have said that they really are thankful that they get a second shot, a second chance at the Saints. Are you thankful for that?
Just thankful to be in the playoffs and thankful to be, in the second round, divisional round. It's a big deal. Everything's in front of us, so the opponent is the opponent. The opponent happened to beat us pretty good earlier in the year, and it is what it is. I mean, second opportunity is great, but we're going to try to beat them just as bad as we would try to beat anybody else. I mean, I think it's weird to go back and forth and say who you more want to beat or less want to beat. It's a playoff game.
Nick said that loss brought you guys closer together, the adversity and maybe the low of the season. How do you think that happened?
I mean, we didn't really have a choice, so he was either going to bring us closer or drive us apart and make the year worse. So obviously, winning, 6 of our last 7 or whatever, maybe we don't make that run without that loss. I don't know.
How tough is Drew to sack? Obviously, there's a history of gets that ball out quick and not being able to remain patient.
He does. He's smart. His O-line's good, but more than anything, his timing's really good, and he's aware of who he's playing each week. And I think when he knows he's got a challenge up front like us, he's gonna lean on that O-line and also get the ball out with timing. So he's a very smart player. Obviously, done it for almost 20 years, and there's nothing he hadn't seen.
The New Orleans, that flight home, was that the worst?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, was it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Hey, Chris, I imagine every team emphasizes red zone defense, but there's such a disparity with you guys between total defense and what you do in the red zone. What is it about your red zone defense that's so effective?
I'm not sure. I mean, but we have tightened up down there, and field shrinks. It's harder on offenses, and I think that's a credit to our coaches and obviously the players as well.
Is it fair to say that it's a major part of that system relatively?
Well, a team like the Saints is going to move the ball. I mean, they're going to move the ball on anybody they play. Red zone becomes really important. I mean, red zone was, high red at least, making the Bears kick field goals was important to us. So it can make the difference in your season.
Schwartz tells us that all he really cares about is scoring defense. Is that something that's talked about in meetings?
I don't think anybody talks about it. Everybody just, if you execute and do the things that you need to do, you can get the points down. And that's at the end of the day is the biggest stat that matters.
How much is having Tim Jernigan back in you guys?
Like I said, he's a really good player and he's got great energy, and personally, he's one of my favorite teammates. So speaking for myself, I'm always excited to see him out there. He brings a lot of energy and obviously helps us.
Thank you. In Tim Jernigan's case, he's not playing the snaps he did last year, but his return, what has that done for the D-line overall?
Like I said, I mean, he helps us a lot on the field. His energy is also great, and he's just one of my favorite teammates, so it's exciting to have him back.
Chris, and looking at film of these guys, does Dallas game mean any more as far as finding? I mean, since they did well against them, I mean, is there anything to be learned from that?
I mean, there's always things you can learn from watching tape as far as like an opponent and see who played them the best and whatnot. But also, you got to be yourself, and you got to be the best version of yourself as a defense. I mean, if you go chasing, you can take bits and pieces, but I think if you chase somebody else and try to be somebody else, it can get you away with what you do best.
First down is big against these guys.
Huge, yeah. Yeah, I mean, third and short ain't gonna cut it.
Right.
Second and short ain't gonna cut it. They're explosive, and the only way you slow down an explosive offense is get them in third and long, try to stop the run, and Drew's gonna make plays. Those receivers are gonna make plays. It's a matter of tackling people and just getting people down.
When you take a look at the Saints team on film, what's the biggest thing that's changed from that last meeting in November 18th?
I mean, they're still pretty good. I don't think a whole lot's changed. I think maybe we changed a little bit, and we're going to see. But I think as far as us controlling the clock last game, we didn't do a good job of that at all. A lot of 3 and outs, and when you do that, you're not going to win.
Do you have extra motivation this week? I mean, I know you guys are a couple wins away from the night of the Super Bowl, but is there extra motivation because of what happened last time?
That and just, it's a playoff game too, and that's pretty motivating within itself. I think, last time we played them wasn't very good from us. We know that. Everybody else knows that, and hopefully we'll put up something different.
The odds makers made you pretty substantial underdogs to start the week.
Who are the odds makers? Just Vegas?
Yes.
Who is that, though?
Vegas.
Okay.
A lot of people.
I'm messing with you.
Why is it going to be different this time around?
I don't know what's going to be different. It may not be different. It may be a lot different. I think if we run the ball, I think we'll be a different team. I think if we can stay balanced instead of being one-dimensional like we were last time, those guys are out of control over there. It'll be a different outcome.
Nick Foles said that loss helped kind of get you to where you are now. I don't know if it's hitting rock bottom or anything like that, but how he said it made you guys come together more.
So I think that game and then Dallas game, 2 biggest games that really motivated us. I feel like we weren't expected to go against the Rams and do anything, especially with the situations. Really, I think we just really rallied the second half of the season. So I think we're playing our best ball, and I think we'll be different this time around.
Jim Schwartz said yesterday, though, after that Saints loss, that you guys did respond the right way. But sitting at 4-6, how did you make sure that how did this team make sure that it didn't fold and kind of give into that snowball?
I just think we have a lot of older guys that have played a lot of games in this league, and really when you have that leadership, I think they've been in a lot of different seasons and have a lot of good advice, and so really I just think we have a lot of guys that refuse to quit, and really that's it. And get to a point where you've had enough, and I think we hit that point.
What's changed from the last time when you look on the Saints on film? What's changed from them, if anything, since the last time you guys played?
Nothing. They're still as talented as they were, then. I think they've added guys, Armstead, a tackle, Ted Ginn coming back. They're still playing really well. Got Drew Brees, who's a Hall of Fame quarterback, Sean Payton to be a Hall of Fame coach at one point. And they're still creating matchups, still doing all the versatility. You get Wildcat, you get all these different things. So really the same team. We'll have to obviously have a solid plan. We'll have to make plays and compete and win one-on-one matchups. We're a good team.
When you have a quarterback like Drew Brees who has that playoff experience, how much of an X factor is that for, I guess, any experienced player at this point in the season, at this point in the playoffs?
I mean, you're not gonna surprise Drew Brees. He's seen too many things. He studies the game too much. You're not really going to come into a game and shock him with anything. The situation's not going to be too big. He's not going to choke in a moment. So you're going to have to earn every play that you make, which is fine in the way that we want it.
Malcolm, was it good or bad for a lot of the young guys in the secondary to go through something like that? Because some young guys, it can really affect them mentally, but was it good in a way to see how low it can be and then get to this point now where their confidence has grown so much?
I mean, I wouldn't say if it was good or bad, but I think over the course of this entire season, we've had a lot of young guys contribute, especially on the back end, and have been thrown into the fire, whether it was a good game, bad game. They've learned over time and gotten a ton of experience, and I think have grown substantially each week, and we've seen that, and I think it's been one of the reasons we've been able to excel as a team, especially on defense, is the improvement of some of these young guys getting experience.
Malcolm, with what happened the last time, how much does that play into preparation and maybe motivation for this game?
Motivation, I mean, we got everything, regardless if we played them earlier this season or if it was a tight game, blowout, we're in the playoffs at this point. So we don't need much more than that to get us, excited and up for the game against the number 1 seed, and all that they bring in their place going on the road. We got plenty.
When you lose a game like that, it could go either way. Why do you think it went this way for you guys?
We're not a front-running group. We're going to be us and stay confident and stay poised and continue to trust in each other regardless of what the situation is. And it's been fun to be a part of to see such a turnaround. But we're not satisfied, obviously, with just, getting into the playoffs and getting one win. We're in it to compete for a Super Bowl, and no better opportunity than this week.
Malcolm, from an X's and O's standpoint, what's key Sunday to make sure it doesn't get out of control in a negative fashion like it did last time?
Don't let them score 40, 50 points. That'll help.
Malcolm, how proud are you the way you guys have turned it around from the last time you were in New Orleans? I mean, a lot of guys in here talked about that, we believe we're going to fight. And it wasn't just talk. You guys really did it and stayed together and turned this thing around. There has to be a sense of pride for you guys to be standing here still talking about, being a few wins away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think we're a prideful group, which is one of the reasons, we've been able to even keep it together, because you got guys that actually care about what we're doing, that care about each other, that care about what they put out on the field, that take pride in their preparation, pride in the way that they go and compete. And that's from the top down, from owner, the coaches, the players. And I think that's, one of the reasons we've been able to turn it around. So it's been something that obviously we've been very proud to be a part of. Wasn't what we planned, but we are right where we wanted to be. For us, we wouldn't have it any other way.
You guys have shut out opponents in the first quarter in the last 3 straight games. What has allowed you guys to be able to come out to those fast starts?
Well, I think it's, just getting off the field, really, on third down. Doing a good job on first and second down. I think early in games we've done a good job of stopping the run as well, as teams are trying to get, the run established, putting ourselves in some good third downs, 3rd and 7+, and then just getting off the field when you need to.
Malcolm, you mentioned it there a little bit. I know Breeze gets a lot of the headlines, but against any offense, how important is it to shut down the run, to force them to be a little bit more one-dimensional?
Yeah, I think they do a good job. Is like you said, as much as Drew, and Sean, get the headlines about, the passes and the scheme and all that stuff, they do a good job of staying balanced. With Kamara and Ingram, 2 different styles of running, one downhill, they'll get in a bunch of different packages. So they have a real diverse run game. They can get to the edge. They can, go up the middle, all those things. Just run, dive solid, right at you, try to push you off the ball. And then they add on the play action, the spread out passing game, and then they look for big plays with big matchups. So they do a good job of really keeping you on your toes.
You played for a bunch of years in that dome with the crowd, with you, the defense. What makes it so difficult for an opposing defense to go in there on that turf with that offense?
The opposing defense?
When you're
it's not the crowd, it's the guy throwing the ball.
they're
they're, you talking about opposing offenses?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about.
No, I'm saying for the Eagles defense to go in there on that turf.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the crowd. That's the quarterback. That's the main thing. The guy throwing the ball, and then the guys he's throwing the ball to, are some of the best in this league. So, yeah, that's probably the biggest part of it, more than the environment.
Back then, I was just coming in, trying to figure things out, trying to figure terminology, the lingo, and things like that. Now, I'm a little more comfortable communicating with the guys better in the back end, the linebackers, the whole 9. So now I would say I'm more at ease and know my game plan.
You feel like that's the whole secondary? Because the whole at that point the secondary seemed like, especially that game, it wasn't just you. Even the guys that have been here just it didn't look right that day. Do you feel like a confidence has grown with this group, from then to now?
Oh, absolutely, man. We it's just a type of energy we bring in, and I would say all the hard work that we put into practice week in and week out, and just getting with each other each and every day to communicate and to study film. So with that being said, I feel like that just helped build us weekly after week.
A lot of guys in here have described that Saints game as like rock bottom for this team, that it was really a turning point for this group, and it almost seemed like if we use that metaphor for the secondary, you could say the same thing. Like your first game, a lot of guys going down with injury in that game in the secondary, and the way you guys have developed from there. How would you describe just from that moment to now how the secondary's evolved?
Night and day. I would definitely say that. We had a lot of guys out there, including myself, a lot of new guys going into it, trying to figure things out on the fly, on the run. Now the group of guys we have out there, we sticking to it, we running with it, and everything's fun. Everything's just happening in our favor, and that's a fun thing.
Have you had any time to think about, the way the season's gone for you? It must have seemed like a terrible thing when the Lions cut you, and then you ended up here and you're playing right away, and now you're in the playoffs playing, and it's been quite a lot of stuff has happened to you.
Yeah.
How do you process all that? What do you think about it?
I just, you can't be down on yourself for too long. In this league, things gonna happen. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get released. That's just the business part of it. You gotta still hold your head high. Still have faith in the man above. Keep giving him praise, and I would say he won't bring you this far to leave you. So at the end of the day, as long as you keep putting your best foot forward, everything will work out in your favor.
I know you saw the things Jim Schwartz said about you yesterday because you retweeted most of them. But, how did that feel? He really talked a lot about you being kind of a key to the season and how important it was that you came along and developed like you have.
I appreciate everything Jim said about me. It's a big honor, and I'm very thankful for it. But I wouldn't say I saved this season, or it's a team thing, and it's collectively we all did that as a whole, getting together, coming up with just new fire, lighting that fire in our eyes with the ski masks, and just being out there with the guys and having fun with one another and communicating. So with that being said, I just think that we're on a roll right now, and we believe in each other.